if you don't know what a DSCR loan is, then I guess maybe that's where we should have started. Go look that up. It's debt service cover ratio.
This is Donald J. Trump, and you need to check this out. You're listening to Michelle and Vin, a real estate power couple in business, love, and life. Turn your speakers up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode with Michelle and Vin here out of sunny Texas. Well, actually, today is a little bit windy, but overall, it's still sunny. So just want to hop on here. And again, we're all about business, relationships, real estate, business, entrepreneurship, a little bit of all of the above. So again, Michelle and Vin, we are in business partners as well as life partners. Say hello, Michelle.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I don't know what episode this is, but welcome back to our crazy lives. And hopefully we can inspire you to be a crazy entrepreneur like us and work with your spouse. Maybe.
I was going to say, I think that's the key word. You got to be a little bit crazy to do all of those above and beyond. So I know it's definitely been an interesting week, and we're a little bit at about past midweek. And so we wanted to get on here and kind of just talk about, I don't know if they're learning lessons or pain points that we've gone through over the last couple of days, but I don't know. What would you call them?
I think sometimes what happens as we go through entrepreneurship and real estate in specific, that's our season right now, is real estate. We both have business backgrounds, but when you go through something for the first time, it is feeling like you putting out fires and you don't know, and you're getting discouraged and you don't know what that looks like. But then as you do it over and over and over and over, it becomes easier, and you start to know and figure out what can be said and what cannot be said, or what can be asked for and what not. And then you're teaching someone else, or you're helping someone else, and you're like, oh, you got this. Like, don't worry about it. Like, that's not a problem. And sometimes you have to give a little bit of grace, saying, I probably was the same way, maybe even worse, because at that time I didn't have a coach to help me go through what I'm going through. So I'll give you a little bit kind of perspective on what I'm talking about. So as you guys know, I'm a coach, mentor. We love helping, and we're in that season in our lives to teach people how to build real estate without utilizing their own money, but really have the experience to get into real estate. And as me teaching people how to capital raise is basically what I'm doing, and how to go find the money. And Vin is on a lot of my calls and helps out as well. I kind of dragged him into my coaching program, but he likes it. Or do you? I guess I'm speaking for you.
I can neither confirm or deny that statement.
Sometimes I think you're a little bit more long-winded than I am when we're on those calls. But at any rate, we have a student right now that I'm teaching, and we're teaching her how to capital raise, and she's doing a phenomenal job. However, she has another coach for acquisition. So she has a coach that comes in and that is to teach her how to get, acquire these properties. And one of the things that I just, once we kind of undeveloped, so I guess it's an assumption on my part, but I assume she knew in regards to DSCR loans and LLCs and knowing how to get all that structured and set up. And so the lesson today is we're really going to talk about that acquisition part and that lending part, but also full circle. It's about where were we, the first loan that we got to, where are we today? And sometimes we forget how that felt that first time around. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So Vin loves DSCR lenders. He actually.
No, I do not. I do not like DSCR lenders. And,
why?
Just to kind of build on what you're.
And let's say why.
I mean, are we going to keep this podcast PG, or do you want me to be completely transparent in who I am authentically? Because then we're going to offend people. I thought we were trying to be PC about this. I'm just going to go with they're just slapping lipstick on a pig and calling it something that it's not, in my opinion. It's supposed to be asset based, which, yes, that's kind of where you start. But then it's, okay, we need to see this. 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 This is what we want. Oh, by the way, you're closing tomorrow, but we still need X, Y, Z. And I'm like, good Lord, it would have been easier just to walk into a Chase Bank and get a traditional loan, in my opinion. Obviously, if you're seasoned in real estate, if you're buying in your personal name, you cap out at 10. That's not the situation here. But we're both big believers, and we emphasize and we exercise that you should not buy anything under your personal name. Um, I think the last thing I bought in my personal name was an SUV, which was well over a decade ago. But it's always, everybody always says, well, like, man, you guys are doing well, and you guys are doing this, and you guys are doing that. Like, no, I go, actually, I'm not. I go, might be asset rich, but cash poor. Don't have any money in the bank. But that's a whole different conversation. But where I was going with it is I think sometimes as entrepreneurs and doing the day to day, and you're in the trenches, you forget everything you've learned and everything you've done in all the years and the repetition. Because what we do, it is a muscle, and you got to exercise it. And the more you exercise it, the better you get at something. But I remember when we had that conversation, you brought it up. I think we were having dinner or making dinner, and I think we were just kind of responding to each other and just popping up. Oh, you could do this. Oh, you could do that. Oh, you could do this. But I think you're right. After so many transactions, so many years, you kind of forget what it was like at the very beginning, and you forget what the answers are, and you forget, like, oh my God, they're telling me I got to do X, Y, Z. I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'm freaking out, and I got to close at the end of the month. But the more you do something, it's not that it gets easier. The truth is that you get better the more you do something. And that's true with anything. The best thing I could reference that to is going to the gym. You don't go to the gym, you're going to be a fat Mexican like me. You go to the gym, you're going to be like Billy Jean's looking nowadays, dropping 50 pounds in 75 days. And he looks good. I actually looked into it after you mentioned he's in good shape in 75 days. So again, it's an exercise. You got to use it. You got to, that's just it. It doesn't get easier. You just get better.
Yeah. So my opinion, dun dun dun. I have an opposite opinion of Vin's opinion about DSCR loans. So, I actually like them. Now, the reason why I know his premises of saying, and again, this is the beauty of us having our own podcast, we can agree with some things and not agree, but get to the same place, like we've been saying before. He'll go left, I'll go right, and then we still end up at the same thing. I think it is where if someone, and it's so funny how I say this because I say this with love, but Vin would be doing the same thing. If you're gonna allow someone to ask you all of this because you're not educated, you're just gonna keep doing it. Think about it. As a private money lender, if I sit here and I want to be the lender and I'm asking you for your firstborn child, I'm asking you for all your HUD statements, I'm asking you for your financial statements, I'm asking you, as a borrower, you're desperately saying, okay, I just need the money, so let me just give you everything. It's no different with DSCR. They're there to protect their fund. They're there to protect the private investors that are backed behind them to be able to do it. The other second thing is I think we always forget when we're in the position of need to forget to interview the people that we potentially will be buying the service from or the service being provided. What do I mean by that? Is asking the DSCR lender, how many transactions? How long have you guys been around? Is this your first time? Most of the time, we're over here desperately needing a loan to get this deal done that we feel that we're at the mercy of them. I have had that mistake before. So with the mistakes that I have done, I have learned what to ask DSCR lenders. I have learned to know to say no. And that's what we were guiding and helping currently right now, our student client, we were really helping her with it. I said, oh my God, they do not need to ask you all of that. And that is the beauty of getting a coach. So we've been spending a lot of time this week together, and she was able to go back with confidence and say, why, and guys, like I'm talking about, she has a few investment properties. They're wanting those HUD statements. They're wanting HELOCs. They're wanting their history of her current mortgages. That's all traditional. But if she doesn't know any better because she's always bought traditional. And so when I was able to go back and to tell her, tell them no, surely enough, the email came back, oh, you know what? You're right. We don't need all of that. And we went from like a 25 list of items to like the things that DSCR needs, right? Which is like your top 6 of what you need. So I understand why, and trust me, I don't know if it's the DSCR lenders, it's the brokers that can do it, because it is the wild, wild west. You don't need to have a license in order to represent these non-QM loans. You can be a broker or put, you can, and some of these lenders, you can be a broker and may just not know. Or it could be the administrative assistant. Well, once we started to really dig, and there's a little bit more, behind why this lender was picked. But once we started to dig, this was probably maybe their 10th loan as a DSCR loan. They're truly traditional and conventional. So I think.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I think I don't even, I mean, it could be, I used to get upset about hard money, right? I used to get upset, but what I've realized, and especially in real estate and in business, but mainly real estate, everything is negotiable and everything should be asked if you truly don't know what it is. Don't take it as an ego situation. Don't take it as you feel stupid. Because if you are buying properties and getting a DSCR loan, or buying from a wholesaler, your butt is the one that's on the line. You will have to make sure that that note is paid. You are going to be 30-year note, or whatever that looks like as far as the terms. So I ask all the questions. And before, I didn't know what questions to ask. So get into the rooms and get to really understand that, because you're not going to know everything in real estate, but I think the biggest thing that you need to know, there's a lot of things you need to know, but really on the lending side. And it's so funny because I said this the other day, 2 years ago, I said, man, I wish I could just really focus in on lending and funding and figuring out the finances of it and really do it. I've done it, but on a mistake portion of it, I've lost money because I didn't really understand. But as entrepreneurs, we jump in. I don't jump in as crazy as Vin does, but I jump in, and I've learned on the way, and I've learned to say, okay, that I need to save more money, and I can do it by this way, by not doing this. But really now it's how crazy, full circle. 2 years later, we're truly getting in the lending, funding, financing side of real estate in the business. We are now, and this is why I know DSCRs, like we are now becoming where we're able to offer and lend with private money lenders, as well as provide you options for hard money lenders and DSCR lenders. And so that's why we know like what questions to be asked and what shouldn't be, and so forth. So that's my spin on it. I think it's just making sure you're educated. We're all going to get frustrated, but one of the things I tell Vin is like, what we have done better on any situation, or what do we know our non-negotiables are, right? We can we're talking today about lending, but contractors will do the same. I need 50% up front and a deposit, and I'm not going to start the work. If you are getting into this business, please never give a contractor 50% up front. So,
I mean, my opinion on that is don't give anything up front.
Yeah.
It should all be based off of benchmarks, but no, yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's funny that you even brought that up, because I think yesterday on my social media, I posted something along the lines of, don't blame anybody else for the road you're on. It's your own asphalt. And I'm like, oh, that actually resonates extremely well. So no, it's that, again, the beauty of real estate is exactly what you said. It's very much the dating phase before you get into an actual marriage. And so it really is transactional unless you really like working with somebody, and then you continue on to the marriage. But I got to say, probably in the beginning, I was very ego driven, and I wouldn't ask things. And stupid me, not asking certain questions, has cost me thousands of dollars when it's just, well, you didn't ask. I'm like, are you kidding? You're the professional. What do you mean? I'm like, you should have told me this. I'm like, well, you didn't ask, so I wasn't obligated to tell you. So at this point, I'm okay with looking stupid if you want to say that. It's not really that, because it usually lends the conversation to go into a different direction. And then additional questions come up. You're like, oh yeah, well, we can do it this way. And that's $20,000 less. And that's huge, especially after so many transactions at the end of the year. So I would strongly suggest, don't let your ego write checks that your butt's gonna have a hard time trying to cash down the road. I'd rather look foolish up front, um, and have a better result, have a better answer, have a better experience overall, and really have things done the right way. But yeah, it's I always ask. You know me, I'm like, if I want to know something, I'm just gonna ask, because if I don't ask, and it's gonna bug me for as long as I keep thinking about it, I'm like, man, I wonder what if, what if, what if. So I hate living that way. Those words don't ever come out of my mouth. At least I don't think so. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but instead of always saying what if, I always like thinking, why not? And what's the worst? I'd rather have a no than wonder all the way home. I'm like, I should have asked that. I should have asked that. Like, I wonder what if. I wonder what if. I'm like, no. At least this way I ask. And like, okay, well, that didn't work. Move on to the next thing, and be done with that. Kind of get it off your plate. So
I kind of want to,
it's interesting.
Yeah, I want to drive this home, because I know that probably some listeners may say, okay, so does that mean let me be like Michelle and be so over analytical and never get started? That is not what we're saying. What we are saying is,
hold on. For somebody to be so analytical that says I'm not going to get started, that is an extremely aggressive first 12 to 18 months for somebody that's as analytical as you. So I just want to stop there. So are you analytical? 100%. Are we complete opposites? 100%. While you're still trying to figure out if the boat's going to float, I'm already in the water with no chonies on, trying to figure it out. So, there is an analytical side to you, but you are a go-getter, and for that, I'm grateful and just love your personality. So please, I'm sorry to cut you off. Please continue.
yeah, you're swimming to try to find where the tacos are.
If there's tacos in the water, I'm going to find them.
Oh, yeah. So my whole thing is that just, guys, do your due diligence in the sense. Get 10 DSCR lenders. 10 is extreme, but get 10 your first time. Call them. What are your qualifications? What would you need if I need a loan? What if this? We've said this before. Go back to your network. Build a network. You may not be buying today. Get in the rooms with people that are buying. Get into the rooms and listen. And right now we're in a whole building out the whole business line of what we just said in regards of serving others and being able to provide solutions for DSCR, for hard money lenders. So eventually, attached to this video, you'll get to see some of our affiliates that we have vetted, we have used to be able to provide you guys some type of just different providers out there. But get into the rooms, ask them, who's your lenders? Who are you working with? Get those people, get on the phones with them. Their job is to service you. So what is it that you need for pre-qualification? What do you guys look for? What's the credit score? Whatever their qualifications are, you will start to see that there is a trend. You will start to see that some will ask for more and some won't. You will need that. That is not just on the DSCR. That's on hard money. That's on anything to do with lending. Private money lenders as well. There are sometimes we have to turn away money. I know that may sound shocking, but we turn away money because certain private money lenders want certain things, and they are absolutely in their rights to ask for whatever the heck they want. They're
in the rights to ask for whatever. Yeah, they're in the rights to ask for whatever they want.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
Okay.
All right, you take it.
I'm like, they're going to edit this part out. No, and so they're in the rights to ask for whatever they want. Doesn't mean that you have to provide all of that. Now, guys, there are things with any type of lending are required. You are going to have to, if you're getting a loan and using someone else's money and leveraging, there are things that you are going to have to provide. So do understand that it's to protect their money. And this, DSCR loans, hard money loans, a mortgage company, these are all, obviously different ways you can get things. But there's some things that have been out of the norm. I've been saying this story more often than not because we're in this role, but I had a lender at one point. I was going to have access to $2 million, and this is a private money lender. Have access to $2 million, and he said the only caveat is I'll lend it to you. At that time, my mom was my business partner. He says, but you have to get rid of your mom. She's dead weight. So I never took that loan. And then I realized later that he had the $2 million burning a hole in his pocket for almost 18 months because of the way that he was. So it's his money. He can let it keep burning a hole in his pocket. It's what he wanted on his terms, but you got to know what your non-negotiables are when it comes to certain things. But going back to talk to 10 lenders, hard money lenders, talk to 10 DSCR lenders, look what's the common denominator. There are things that you are required, but there are other things that are extra and on the top. And if you provide that information, that is on you if you're comfortable with it. But do understand if they're asking you for, a lot of different things, they can't hold that against you because you willingly provided it. So if you don't know what a DSCR loan is, then I guess maybe that's where we should have started. Go look that up. It's debt service cover ratio. It is an asset-based loan. It is only to be part of the current asset that you are purchasing. It should not be cross-collateralized. Go ahead and chat GPT cross-collateralized. If you don't know what that means, it shouldn't be cross-collateralized as well with your other assets. It is a standalone and should be as such looking at that. So any final words, Mr. Vin?
Yeah, the word for this show is apparently Google and ChatGPT.
I did not once say
no.
Google.
It's
I said ChatGPT.
Yeah, I know, but if you're looking up DSCR or whatever, it's probably gonna be easier through Google. No, I think just the last thing, I think you touched on something. I just want to emphasize on that in regards to networking and working the rooms. I know it's a lot of people don't look forward to it, but here's the other thing that I don't think we've talked about. We've talked about it privately, but never on one of these podcasts. As much as a bad borrower gets around, like the gentleman you spoke about with the $2 million, he basically burned his persona, if you will, whatever. People knew who he was and nobody wanted to borrow from him. If you get into the rooms and you start building your circle, and I talk about this from experience, when there's a bad lender, word gets around as well. Back when I was still in California, there was a specific hard money lender that burned somebody and then burned somebody else. And by the time they burned the third person, the entire circle knew of who this person was. And that was from a real estate group that I'm in that's over 30,000 members. And they knew this, so they came in and they were just trying to line up the cash flow as quickly and as fast as they could. I've never heard anybody after the third person that they burnt because word got around very quickly and people stopped using them. I know I've seen that with hard money. I know I've seen that with private money. I know in a different group that we're in that we just recently heard that the lenders get together and talk about borrowers. And so they're also protecting their investments and best interests. So without doing the networking, without connecting with other people, it's a little bit harder because we're already flying blind. Why make it harder? If you're in these groups and you can leverage somebody else's experience, knowledge, relationships, which is really the business we're in, is the relationship business, not the loan business, not the real estate business. We're in the people business. So just food for thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about networking, I do have to give you a gut punch. So who won the challenge?
The challenge isn't over yet.
All right, let's see. Who is very much ahead in the challenge? Guys, I'm
100% that's you.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, we had a challenge where we're to talk to 100 new people within one of our communities. And this was something that we do sometimes to get us out of our comfort zone because we get in the zone with our business. And these are 100 new people. 20-minute conversations, which is very difficult sometimes for Vin to do. I have learned to really get it very in tuned because I was having 10 to 12. So I think my number right now, it's been a little bit slower this week, is at 90. And let's Be honest.
Oh,
Let's
you've added some more.
let's be honest, Vin. What number are you at? Honesty.
One.
Really? Who's that one? I would love to know who that one.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
technically, if we're being technical, you're part of the group, so we're talking right now.
Yes, guys. So we do these things, but yeah, his butt needs to get into gear because he's doing. He's only hurting himself not to learn new things and have new relationships. And I have learned
You're
so many.
100% right. I agree.
I have learned so many things over the last 2.5 weeks that I've been either just not privy to or that I've just lost touch with. I've met so many good people that I can collaborate with, and I've met new lending opportunities, new different things that we're currently doing in our business. So hopefully the next time we get on here, the next couple of times, Vin, we'll have different numbers. But as you've noticed and as you see, it's two different people, but in the same household can happen. So don't be like Vin and be more like me. And we're gonna leave it like that. Just kidding. I'm
Shots
kidding.
fired.
I'm just kidding. Well, guys,
well, again,
I think
everybody,
that's it, right?
Yeah, I think that's it for this one. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this helps somebody that's out there listening. Make sure to check us out each and every week. We're always updating, and it could be anything from real estate to personal to business and love. So again, thank you to everybody.
Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.